Now we're going to look at 6b. Now this isn't actually in any way related to 6a if you have a look at them. Sometimes they are, so do watch out for that in trick questions. Okay, so they've given us an equation. It's giving us some hints here. Part 1 says forming and solving a quadratic equation. Find the values of cos theta. Right, so we've got an equation with cos squared and sine squared. So what do we know? Well, we know that cos squared theta plus sine squared theta equals 1. The question asks us to end up with cos squared theta, so we want to get rid of the sine squared. So I'll rearrange my identity to say sine squared theta. I can then take this equation and using my identity, so 5 cos squared minus cos theta equals sine squared, and we know that sine squared theta is 1 minus cos squared theta. Right, we know this is going to be a quadratic, so let's put everything onto the same side. So 6 cos squared theta minus cos theta minus 1 equals 0. Some people find this easier to factorise if you make it a little bit simpler to see. So if I say c is cos theta, then 6c squared minus c minus 1 equals 0. And that's easier to see what we're factorising. So it's got to be 1 and 1. It's going to have to be plus 1 and minus 1 to make negative 1. Now I want to end up with negative 1 in the middle, and I've got 6c squared at the front. So that means I want 3 times minus 1. I want 2 times plus 1. If you multiply that out, you can see that it works. So that gives me c is negative a third or a half. And remember, we said c was cos theta, so cos theta is negative a third or a half. At this point we stop because the question asks us just to find cos theta, which is what we found. So we don't need to solve it any further. That would just be a waste of time. Remember, if you've got the silver calculator, you've got equation mode, number 5, number 3. Once we've rearranged to make our quadratic equal 0, we can just put the values in there if we're careful. So a is 6, b is negative 1, c is negative 1, oops, and that will tell us, oh, if I get this right, okay, that will tell us that the solutions are a half and minus a third, which is what we got. Okay, so we've done all that in part 1. And we found our possible values of cos theta, and now we've got the really thinking bit here. So let's just move some of this to the side and have a bit more space. Right, so it's saying us that hence, now hence is in bold, so we're going to have to use our answer to part 1, and they want us to get to tan theta equals 2 root 2. Okay. Right, well what do we know? We know tan theta is sine theta over cos theta. So we know cos theta, we're going to need to find out sine theta. Well, remember from earlier we had sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1. So we can put our values in for cos there. We've got sine squared, if you rearrange that, sine squared equals 1 minus cos squared. So sine squared theta equals 1 minus cos squared theta. So we've got sine squared theta equals 1 minus negative a third squared, which if we simplify, you get sine squared equals 1 minus a ninth. So that's square root of 8 ninth. Remember, it can be positive or negative root. We don't know which. Okay. Or sine squared theta equals 1 minus a half squared, which was our other solution, which will give us sine theta equals plus or minus square root of 3/4. Right, so we've got a couple of pairs here. We've got cos theta equals third with this sine value, and we've got cos theta as a half with this sine value. Right, we're trying to get to tan theta equals 2 root 2. Well, you're going to have two possibilities. we've got tan theta equals, now we had cos theta is minus a third, we've got sine theta is plus or minus the square root of 8/9. Well, in order to turn that into a positive, remember we're looking for 2 root 2, which is a positive number, and that would have to be the negative value of sine. Or, if we're not sure, we've got tan theta equals, the other cos value is a half, and with that, in order to get a positive, we'd have to have the square root of 3/4. Now, if you check these in your calculator, it very quickly becomes obvious that this one doesn't give us 2 root 2. So you can have a quick check. So it's not that one. So we're going to go with this one. So tan theta equals negative root 8/9 over negative a third. Right, that doesn't look like 2 root 2, so we'll have to manipulate that a bit. So square root of 8 is 2 root 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So that's negative 2 root 2 over 3 divided by negative a third. And remember, if we're dividing with fractions, it's keep the first fraction, change the sign to a multiply, and flip the second one. Oh, not 2, 1. 1. Okay. And so now we've got negative 2 root 3 divided by 3 times root 3, which is going to be 2 root 2 as required.